Hi! It's been a while since I've made one of these videos. I was planning to get back to this way sooner. My computer died. It was a whole thing. Hopefully I can still remember how I did this. The setup is a little bit different. You're still balanced on a Garfield plushie, so there is that. Hopefully he's comfortable. I have my book back again. Still don't have a computer to edit with, but hopefully I'll be able to edit this on my phone. And actually, it's really exciting. It might not be for you, but for me it is very exciting. I finally got an adapter so I can actually sync up the audio from my phone. No, from my mic to my phone. I'm focusing so much on not staring at myself and staring at the camera instead that I have no idea what I'm saying anymore. So if any of this doesn't make sense, I'm trying so hard not to be vain and instead to do what I'm supposed to be doing. So hopefully you'll give me some leeway with that. Anyways, I am still living with my family, and of course I said, hey, I'm making an ASMR video again today. They're really nice. They're very supportive. They know about ASMR by now. And not because of me, just because I've been such a big fan of ASMR for so long that I thought I might as well. Like, I brought it up repeatedly through a lot of time. And the point of the story being, they immediately all decided to individually, 3 different parts of the house, start watching the loudest TV they possibly could. So hopefully the mic isn't picking it up. Hopefully the mic isn't picking up the fact that my cat decided that his dinner... Baby boy. Hopefully the baby has decided to finish his dinner, because I gave him that food a while ago, and yet he decided it was only until now that it was appropriate to start eating. I respect that, honestly. Hi, baby. He's so good. Well, good's not exactly the right word, but I love him very much. He's good to me. He's sniffing my jeans because I was outside with the dogs earlier. They slobbered on my jeans because that's what dogs do. That's what my dogs do. So now he's very invested. And I need to wash my jeans. Okay, so that's not what we're here for. But anyone who knows me, and also, Marie, shout out to you. Your comment was what made me do these again. I was planning on doing them again, but your comment just made my day so much. So if you ever do see this, just know that I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you reaching out. But also, you would know that I am very easy to get distracted and to veer away from the point. Which, alright, but I did promise y'all a story, so we're back with the Blue Fairy book. Oh, speaking of, I did get these bangle, like, ring combination things. I was thinking of putting a video of that, not necessarily me talking, just like playing with those. They make nice jingly noises, so maybe that'll be up in the future. I don't know. I'm still obviously very new to this. This is only my 3rd video, so I don't know. That might be in the future. If anyone other than like the 2 people I know that watch these would be interested in this, just please let me know. I would appreciate that. So let's see. What story should we read today? God, it's been a while since I read out loud. I mentioned in one of my earlier videos that I've been doing voiceover work, but a lot of those are for my own stories. And I finished the actual recording part a while back. It's been mostly editing and web design for a while. So I haven't really recorded myself talking Also, English is not my first language. So, which I use as an excuse a lot. Much to the chagrin of my friend, which is always entertaining. Oh, I forgot to mention, for the one person who might notice this, I cut my hair. It is very clearly cut by myself in my bathroom with not sewing scissors. That was last time. With fabrics. I don't know enough about sewing to know the difference. They're big scissors that I used to cut my work. I was looking at 90s anime because I am a stereotype of myself. And this happened. So if you notice that my hair is pointing in several different directions, and that it didn't used to do that as much, you now know why. I kind of like it. My mom says I look like a modern day version of Farrah Fawcett. Kind of like that. I don't know if modern's really the right word for my haircut, but I did it myself, and I've been wanting to cut my hair for a while, so it's not like it's much shorter. It's still pretty long and needs some work. Anyways, I told you it was very easy to get distracted. What are we? 6-something minutes in, and I still haven't started. Okay. Let's see. I have no idea what we read last time. We could read Snow White and Rose Red. I don't think we read that one, did we? I don't know why I ask questions when there isn't an immediate response that I can reply to. I mean, I understand why I ask questions, just in this particular context, they're not very useful for what I require them for. Okay, so we're reading that. Snow White and Rose Red. It's on page 305. Maybe it'll have some pictures. I really like the illustrations in this book. There's not that many, but the ones that there are really cool. Ooh, okay. There are some illustrations, so that's nice. Not yet, though, so I'll let you know later. So this is obviously by the Brothers Grimm. And it's Snow White and Rose Red. A poor widow once lived in a little cottage with her 2 children, who were called Snow White and Rose Red. They were the sweetest and best children in the world, always diligent and always cheerful. But Snow White was quieter and more gentle than Rose Red. The 2 children loved each other so dearly that they always walked about hand in hand whenever they went out together. They often roamed about in the woods gathering berries, and no beast offered to hurt them. It's interesting how the context of some words changes with time. Like, no beast offered to hurt them. The word offered is interesting there because it doesn't really make sense given how we use the word today, but it might have. I'm assuming it did back then. But it's still a little bit funny. Like, hey, I'm a bear. Would you all want to be eaten? Not a question you generally get asked, at least not on the nicer parts of the internet. The little hare would eat a cabbage leaf from their hands. Oh. The deer grazed beside them. The stag would bound past them merrily, merrily. And the birds remained on the branches and sang to them with all their might. No evil ever befell them if they tarried late in the woods. Is that how you pronounce that word? Tarried? Sure. If they ever delayed, let's just say delayed. If they ever delayed, and night overtook them, they lay down together on the moss and slept till morning, and their mother knew they were quite safe and never felt anxious about them. Snow White and Rose Red kept their mother's cottage so beautifully clean and neat that it was a pleasure to go into it. In summer, Rose Red looked after the house. In winter, Snow White lit the fire and put on the kettle. In the evenings, when the snowflakes fell, their mother said, "Snow White, glow, glow, not glow, go and close the shutters." I missed you, like. And they drew round the fire, while the mother put on her spectacles and read aloud from a big book, and the two girls listened and sat and spun. Beside them on the ground lay a little white lamb, and behind them perched a little white dove with its head tucked under its wing. One evening, as they sat thus cozily together, someone knocked at the door, as though he desired admittance. I think it's funny that they use the pronoun he. They don't know who it is yet, but it's kind of spoiling the story a little bit. Not much, but just that. The mother said, "Rose Red, open the door quickly. It must be some traveler seeking shelter." The mother was not as well-mannered as the girls, apparently, for she did not use the word please. Rose Red hastened to unbar the door, when a bear poked his thick black head in. Rose Red screamed aloud and sprang back in terror, and Snow White ran and hid. I am having trouble reading this, aren't I? Oh, baby boy, what are you doing? Staring. That's his favorite pastime. He really likes staring. I guess a lot of people like people watching, so it's not that uncommon. What are you up to? Are you gonna come up? He debates it. And Snow White ran. Rose Red screamed aloud and sprang back in terror. And Snow White ran and hid behind her mother's bed. But the bear said, "Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. I am half frozen and only wish to warm myself a little." "My poor bear," said the mother, "lie down by the fire. Only take care you don't burn your fur." Then she called out, "Snow White and Rose Red, come out. The bear will do you no harm. He is a good, honest creature." The bear asked the children to beat the snow a little out of his fur, and they fetched a brush and scrubbed him till he was dry. Then the beast stretched himself in front of the fire and growled quite happily and comfortably. I would love to stretch out in front of a fire. I have the bad habit. We have a fireplace in my house, which I'm really, really happy about. I've been at this house for years. And ever since I was a little kid, I would get in trouble because I would always sit way too close to the fireplace. And I remember, more than once at least, but I remember one very clearly, where I stood too close and ended up getting a hole in my PE uniform because I was too close and it melted the plastic material that the pants are made out of. Not a great time. Still, I didn't get hurt, so it wasn't that bad. It's just a little bit ridiculous. But yeah, I do have the habit of sitting close to the fire when we light the fireplace, which isn't that often because it's pretty warm where I live. But when we do, I'm usually the one in charge of keeping it going. So it's my excuse to sit by the floor, on the floor, not by the floor. I guess most things are by the floor. Sit on the floor with a basket of wood chips and just make sure it doesn't go out. I think that's a remnant of my childhood of not having glasses until I was older because I couldn't really see very well. So I would sit on the floor to watch TV or movies or whatever. We didn't watch that much TV, and so now there's just something so comfortable about sitting in front of a fire, basket of wood chips, just on the floor. Everyone else is on the couch. Maybe you have a bucket of popcorn or something. It's so good. It's so nice. There's also the slight element of danger, which is a little bit funny, but hey. Maybe Bella in the second Twilight book had a point. I should know this. I mean, I haven't read them in years, but I should theoretically know this. My memory is not good enough for this. Anyways. that is very much unrelated to what we're talking about. Bears. And I got almost killed by a bear. There is technically a connection there. Why not? The children shoot the shoon. Soon. The children soon grew quite at ease with him. The children soon. The children soon grew quite at ease with him. When it was time to retire for the night, and the others went to bed, the mother said to the bear, "You can lie there on the hearth. It will be shelter for you from the cold and wet." As soon as day dawned, the children let him out, and he trotted over the snow into the wood. From this time on, the bear came every evening at the same hour, and lay down by the hearth, and let the children play what pranks they liked with him. And they got so accustomed to him that the door was never shut till their black friend had made his appearance. Here's the illustration. Hopefully I could hold it still enough that it focused, but I have no idea, so we're gonna keep going. When spring came and all outside was green, the bear said one morning to Snow White, "Now I must go away and not return again the whole summer." "Where are you going to, dear bear?" asked Snow White. "I must go to the wood and protect my treasure from the wicked dwarfs. In winter, when the earth is frozen hard, they are obliged to remain underground. But now, when the sun has thawed the ground, they break through and come up above to steal what they can." Snow White was quite sad over their friend's departure, but she unbarred the door for him, and the bear ran hastily away from the cottage and soon disappeared behind the trees. Okay, I'll wait to show you the next illustration because it's technically a scene that's coming up. A short time after this, the mother sent the children into the wood to collect sticks. It uses a rather unfortunate word which we are not going to be using today, or ever. Anyways, sticks. They came upon a big tree which lay on the ground, and on the trunk among the long grass they saw, jumping up and down, a dwarf with a beard a yard long. The end of the beard was jammed into a cleft of the tree, and the little man sprang about like a dog on a chain. He glared at the girls with his fiery red eyes and screamed out, "What are you standing there for? Can't you come and help me?" So now I'll show you the picture. I love these. No idea how they were made. Also, I don't understand why one of the daughters looks a little bit like a cat, like her face. Can you make that out? Do you understand what I mean? The one in the front? I think it's just that her head is very like this shaped. But maybe that's just because I learned how to draw like digital art, which is what I mostly draw now, by doing My Little Pony fan art. So there's always that, and I may be projecting. Let's steer far away from this conversation. "What were you doing, little man?" asked Rose Red. "You stupid, inquisitive goose," replied the dwarf. Goose is an interesting insult to use because people tend to use it as like a cutesy insult, but geese, and I know this is in no hand original thought, are vicious animals. Also, have you seen the inside of their mouths? If you haven't, look it up, but oh my god. They're more grisly than one would expect. "I wanted to split the tree in order to get little chips of wood for our kitchen fire. I had driven in the wedge, but the cursed wood was so slippery that it suddenly sprang out, and the tree closed up and caught my beautiful white beard. So here I am stuck fast, and I can't get away. and you silly girls just stand and laugh. The children did all in their power, but they couldn't get the beard out. It was wedged in far too firmly. At last, Snow White took her scissors out of her pocket and cut the end off his beard. As soon as the dwarf felt himself free, he seized a bag full of gold, which was hidden among the roots of the tree, lifted it up, and muttered aloud, "Curse these rude wretches, cutting off a piece of my splendid beard." With these words, he swung the bag over his back and disappeared without as much as looking at the children again. It's a little bit funny that they knew it was gold, even though it's inside the bag, but I guess you could kind of make it out because of the noise. Shortly after that, I need to stop. This is what you get by joining several creative writing classes, and you either become a writer, which I wish I was. I still could be, but I need to put in the work. You either become a writer or you become way too critical of other people's writing. That is quickly the path I'm going down, and it is not appealing to anybody. I do not want to become the CinemaSins of literature. But it is kind of fun to poke a little bit of fun at these old stories. Just a little bit. Let's see. Shortly after this, Snow White and Rose Red went out to get a dish of fish. As they approached the stream, they saw something which looked like an enormous grasshopper springing toward the water as if it were going to jump in. They ran forward and recognized their friend, the dwarf. "Where are you going?" asked Rose Red. "You're surely not going to jump in the water." "I'm not such a fool," screamed the dwarf. "Don't you see that cursed fish is trying to drag me in?" The little man had been sitting on the bank, fishing. When unfortunately the wind had entangled his beard in the line, when immediately afterward a big fish bit. The feeble old creature had no strength with which to pull it out. He clung on with all his might to every rush and blade of grass, but it didn't help him much. He had to follow every movement of the fish and was in great danger of being drawn into the water. The girls came up just at the right moment and did all they could to disentangle his beard from the line, but again they had to produce the scissors and cut the beard. The dwarf yelled to them, "Do you call that manner, you toadstools?" "Ooh, that insult I like." "It wasn't enough that you shortened my beard before, but you mustn't need cut the rest of it." And then he fetched a sack of pearls, lay among the rushes, and without saying another word, he disappeared behind the stone. Soon after this, the mother sent the two girls to the town to buy needles, thread, laces, and ribbons. Their road led over a heath. I don't know. So we shall keep going. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. I hope I don't. Just because editing is annoying. Are huge boulders. That's not how boulders are spelled anymore. Well, is that what my bangs have been doing? You didn't warn me. How dare you? Maybe in the British version of the word, but in the American, that's not how you spell boulders anymore. Interesting. Boulders of rock lay scattered here and there. While trudging along, they saw a big bird hovering in the air, always descending low. Is it just gonna, I'm sorry, I'm gonna try to look at myself for a second just to fix this. What is, I guess that's fine. Okay, that's what I get for trying to get myself bangs. They're not really bangs, but hey. Soon after this, the mother sent the two girls to the town to buy needles, thread, laces, and ribbons. Their road led over a heath where huge boulders of rock lay scattered here and there. While trudging along, they saw a big bird hovering in the air, always descending lower, till at last it settled on a rock not far from them. They heard a sharp, piercing cry and saw with horror that the eagle had pounced on their old friend the dwarf and was about to carry him off. The tender-hearted children seized hold of the little man and struggled so long with the bird that at last he let go of his prey. When the dwarf had recovered from the first shock, he screamed in a screeching voice, "Couldn't you have treated me more carefully? You have torn my thin little coat all to shreds." And he took a bag of precious stones. I can't. I know every time how do they know? And vanished under the rocks into his cave. The girls went on their way and did their business in town. On their way home, as they were again passing the heath, they surprised the dwarf pouring out his precious stones on an open space. The evening sun shone on the glittering stones, and they glanced and gleamed so beautifully that the children stood still and gazed on them. "What are you standing there gaping for?" screamed the dwarf, and his ashen gray face became scarlet with rage. He was about to go off with these angry words when a growl was heard, and a black bear trotted out of the wood. The dwarf jumped up in a great fright and cried in terror, "Dear Mr. Bear, spare me! I will give you all my treasures. Look at these beautiful precious stones lying here. Spare my life." I know he hasn't been nice to these girls, and they're supposed to be perfect, but I feel kind of bad because he's having a continuously bad time. Like, clearly he values his beard. A good chunk of it has been chopped off at this point. He almost got eaten by a bird. Now there's a bear. Like, I know it's not one day, but he's having a rough time. And now he's being mugged. But the bear, paying no attention, gave the evil little creature one blow with his paw, and he never... I don't mind necessarily that it was the bear, because if an animal does it, then you can always do the whole, oh, it's a part of their, like, nature. It makes sense because it's like, you have a scratching post. I'm not a scratch. You know this. I love you so much. Anyways. Sorry, I don't know how much of that you could see. I think you could kind of see his paw at one point, but anyways. He likes using my couch as a scratching post, which I really like this couch. I've had it since I was a little kid. It's just been reupholstered a bunch of times, but please. He does not care. Like, I understand the whole, okay, if the bear does it, like, that's in their environment. It wasn't the humans messing with their whole thing. But, and he never moved again. They just killed him. Like, I was already feeling bad for this guy, and now he's dead. And he apparently doesn't live by himself, because before that he said he was getting wood for our kitchen fire, which indicates that he either has a roommate, a family, like, most likely there are people who care about this guy, and now he's dead. Dead by a bear. And I mean, what a way to go, but still. I can't help but feel bad for the guy. I'm sorry. The girls had run away, but the bear called after them. Snow White and Rose Red, don't be afraid. Wait, and I'll come with you. Then they recognized his voice and stood still, and when the bear was quite close to them, his skin suddenly fell off. I have nightmares like that. And a beautiful prince stood beside them. Oh, I have even worse nightmares like that. All dressed in gold. I am a king's son, said and have been doomed by that unholy little dwarf. Okay, who had stolen my treasure to roam about the woods as a wild bear till his death should set me free. And you waited this? You're a bear. You killed him with one, like, and that was, and it apparently took you like a good chunk. I mean, he had to wait until the winter was over, but still. Okay. Snow White married him. Because stories don't know what to do with women unless they're married. or widowed or dead. And Red Rose, his brother. Rose Red. How many times have I flipped that? Probably more than once. I don't know. His brother, because of course she did. And they divided the great treasure the dwarf had collected in his cave between them. The old mother lived for many years peacefully with her children. Here's the last illustration. The murderer and the small children that he has decided that one shall be his wife and the other shall marry his brother. Because romance. Alright. What time is it? Do we still have some time? Oh, it's barely half an hour. Okay. Is there any shorter story? Toads and Diamonds, which we might have read last time. That sounds vaguely familiar. I think I read that one as a kid. I really like webcomics. I hope the shuffling doesn't sound too bad. Okay. I really like webcomics, and I've been reading this one called The Cursed Princesses Club or something. I'll link it in the description if I can remember. It's really, really good. And one of the characters is based off this story. Like, look at these illustrations. Like, how can I not love this? I know there's a period in life that a lot of people that read a lot go through, where suddenly it's not really a thing to read books with pictures in them anymore, drawings, illustrations. But there's such a beautiful component of books that have maps in them, books that have just, it's so good. So good. I need to stop doing the do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one we read last time. Why am I suddenly tired? I just finished my coffee. Yes, it is. The sun has gone down. Yes, I am drinking coffee. Yes, I will go to sleep late. Oops. I'm running out of memory. Sorry, I'm gonna have to cut this video short. Hopefully this will save. Wish me luck. Okay. I'll see you soon. It was really nice to be back. I'll have more stories, I promise, next time. Hopefully a slightly longer video. So again, if you have any recommendations or anything, leave them in the comments. Subscribe if you want some more stories. Yeah. Am I missing anything, Sue? Sue says that I'm missing attention to him, so I have to go. It was nice to see you. Bye.